and think about what's coming up next, because Talon, they've seen Boom do very well against EG, first against last in that prior series. Now a similar story here, Gods, for them against Secret.
Yeah, and their fate not as dire as Boom's was coming into this series. Perhaps the tough part about their situation is the team they're up against. Secret has looked amazing coming through the LCQs, but currently they sit on the cusp of not being bottom two. They're tied with Entity in that second last place with one team below them. But the story with Group B has really been the parity. It just feels like all these teams are so even. You've got TSM with 5 wins, Talon and Entity with 6 wins, Fnatic Beast Coast on 7 wins. So between these 5 teams, really anything can happen when it comes to who's going to make it out and who's going to get eliminated.
Yeah, especially with Talon taking some of these, big series against Entity, Fnatic, 1-1ing Team Spirit, looking pretty solid across the board. Maybe a little sad, getting 2-0'd by the South American teams, but you're never quite sure what's going to happen in a Saudi stage against South America. Some crazy matches there. But now, yeah, you're right. Focus up. Time to draft. Game 1 of this best of 2 as Team Secret, as we see on our screens, are preparing themselves for another ride.
This is, Secret at TI. They're one of these teams, as an org, yet to win a TI. Puppy going way back to TI1, did win one, but this is an org that has been constantly hyped up, particularly going back to like 4 or 5 years ago. They've been favorites coming in multiple times, and this TI championship has eluded them. Yet throughout that kind of, 5-6 year period, they've had a lot of like top 4, top 6, top 8 finishes. It was kind of this ongoing meme where year after year they would get one place better. So we're going to see how Secret does at this TI. I do feel like they're a team I expect to go far and probably get another at least top 6, maybe top 4 at this TI. There's definitely not really, I think, any opponent where I think Secret is going to get completely outclassed by them.
Yeah, they've looked incredibly good. I mean, years gone by, they've done so well in the preceding moments in TI and then faltered, but looking like this pool of teams in TI all very close to each other as we can see Poppy there and Heen getting ready for this draft, already getting their first couple of bans out of the way. And Resolution, he's very happy about this. He grabbed up the Marcy, and that's something that he has played from position 3.
There we go. Could be that kind of flex hero. Talon prioritizing the Puppy Chen as well as the Sniper. Curious to see which direction they go. They are playing second pick, but Shadow Fiend as well as Morphling in the pool. 2 heroes that often can feel pretty annoying to play into Sniper. So maybe Talon have their eyes set on one of those 2. The issue maybe is you pick SF here, they're going to counter with Morphling. So I do feel like this is a safer option. They get KP's Doom. This has been his best hero throughout this entire group stage. And he's just looked really good on it. So no dislike here of this. I think pairing it with some kind of support pick here makes a lot of sense, whether that's like an Undying, Silencer type hero. They're just going to think of what kind of support is going to synergize with what they want to do later on in the draft.
8 games. 8 games is how long KP has had to wait to get this Doom. It was banned by Thunder, banned by Beast Coast, banned by Fnatic and Entity, all in the first phase. So Secret, letting it slip through there along with the Nyx Assassin.
Yeah. I mean, what that says is Secret gave it to him on purpose. They want to play against 2. They feel like they have some kind of opener that is going to be good against the Doom. I'm curious to see what that is, what kind of cores they have in mind, but it does definitely kind of raise some red flags when it comes to how this draft develops. They get the SF, which is a great safe lane to put against the Doom, although more often than not, it's actually been more niche at playing this in the mid lane.
Yeah, it looks like a minor problem with the draft overlay. We'll try and get that sorted out. So we'll keep you up to date in terms of what's actually being picked, as I think you can only see the first phase of bans on your screens. But so far, the Chen, you see all the bans, so it's just Marcy first pick, Doom Nyx response with a Shadow Fiend now for Team Secret, and Lina there following ban.
Thanks, Gary. That's very helpful. As next ban's coming out. As far as what these teams want to do and the strengths of what they've done, Secret, I think this SF first phase, particularly when you have first pick, just feels really potent because you can send it mid lane, you can send it safe lane, it has that flexibility. We've also seen a lot of different ways to draft around SF, all in early to mid game push strats with Lone Druids, with Beastmasters, or these other drafts with Pudges and things where you get this big kind of team fight around the SF, and you look more for this late game scaling of SF with Mask of Madness build. So a lot of different ways it can be played. And as far as matching up against Doom, it just feels like a lane that could be good for SF. and also a hero that could be kind of hard to doom and also just not very good to doom at various points in the game.
Just stand his ground and click into you. On Broodmother and Beastmaster, some of those tempo offlaners do get removed in the end.
Yep. We'll be getting that drop back up in just a second as we fix things here with this Secret and Talon game number 1. Yeah, it's kind of interesting they banned the Beastmaster considering, you know, they've already picked the Doom, which is generally played by KP, but Talon have at times flexed it into a support role, so it's not completely unheard of option that they play at support, but given what's at stake here, given that it feels like Talon need to win at least one of these 2 games to avoid, you know, potential elimination. Because, you know, it depends a lot of what also happens in the Entity series, as well as the TSM series. I feel like going with your comfort zone is going to make a lot of sense.
Yeah, putting people on signature heroes where they've played so many scenarios in and out, it gives them much more room to think about the grander scheme of things in terms of where you want to play on the map and how you want to move forward into mid game out of your laning stage. And yeah, some decent focus there onto Mikoto though. The Lesh and Lina both gone. Wouldn't be surprised to see like a puck ban or something along those lines for Team Secret to really shut down his hero pool that little further. And Mirana banned by Talon as well.
We saw a Rezo offlane Mirana game in the LCQ where he just dominated and carried the hell out of the game. So perhaps Talon remembering a little bit of what happened there. And one of the good things to do against Doom is just pick 2, 3 cores that all scale. You can't doom them all. Just makes your life a little bit harder, and also just picking cores that maybe just don't care a bit about getting doomed, or that are hard to get on top of to doom, like a Mirana. So definitely a ban that kind of makes sense to me.
Yeah, that's a good point. What are we gonna see from Nisha this game? If it is gonna be the safe lane SF, look towards his Kunkka or something along those lines. It feels like you need a bit more team fight added in. He's another hero that doesn't mind getting doomed because he is so tanky. As long as he gets that boat off first.
Yep. What's it gonna be? Last bans here. A lot of reserve side from Talon. They do end up banning the Monkey, which I think goes back to Doom likely being an offlaner. Doom Nick's not the best lane, but I think Talon often play their offlane in this kind of very passive way where KP just wants to farm, plays a lot of Doom, a lot of Enigma, and they often pair it with these melee 4s that just kind of maybe drag creep waves around. At the same time, an Ench pick could be safe lane. They could do Ench with the Doom. They can still go into a Morphling here. The Morphling against Shadow Fiend we've seen a few times look really good with the Ag Scepter. If Shadow Fiend is your main carry and he gets hit by a Morph, he just loses so much of his damage output.
Yeah, and also a little bit of a block pick with the Ench, right? We've seen Puppey play quite a fair amount of this through LCQ and into the group stage. It's been one of his favorite heroes to be that team fight starter and just walk up a high ground, say hello to people outside of the laning stage potentially you bring to the table.
Yeah, I like this pick a lot.
Might see Team Secret just take a pause here to think about, hey, what's our Puppey hero going to be? If this is a Rezo / Zayat Marcy, and Nisha and Crystalis have both showed they play the Shadow Fiend, so very open in terms of that. And we can maybe look for like a Witch Doctor or something here for Puppey, or a Crystal Maiden maybe to deal with these Ench creeps in the early stage of the game.
Yeah, the CM seems pretty nice and something that Puppey would generally like. He's also played a little bit of Silencer, although this doesn't strike me as like amazing Silencer game necessarily. You're not getting huge value out of the curse, and there's not like some obvious reason for global silence being amazing right now. Also, by the way, worth noting, Enigma also still in the pool. Something that I'm wondering if it makes an appearance, less so for Talon, but maybe more Secret, although Rezo hasn't been... Yeah.
He's banned first phase.
Oh, he was banned. Okay, yeah. Just kidding, I'm blind.
You worried me there for a second.
Yeah. I was looking at this, I was like, oh, where's the Enigma ban? I didn't see Talon banning it, but okay.
It's either like you're blind or I'm hallucinating.
No.
One way or the other.
I'm still riding the high from last game, you know.
Yeah.
Little wonky.
I mean, there's still a Pango out there, though, as well, as one of these heroes that has done very well in multiple roles. We've seen Amar bringing it back for the off lane, but even mid lane, you've got that ability to team fight consistently. And there we go. Tusk and Maiden going to round out the 2 supports here for Secret.
So we do get the core Marcy. Secret like this. They like giving Rezo these games where he can kind of scale and be more of this pseudo carry. Talked about the Mirana, but the Marcy's kind of a similar idea where he can maybe be this bit more of a playmaker. Could also be a core Tusk as well, but that's a bit less likely, I would say, in general.
Yeah, maybe something that Nisha's played around. I think Core Tusk has primarily been out of the mid lane. This is probably Zayat's Tusk, Puppy Maiden, Marcy for Rezo, and Shadow Fiend still open. So Talon, time to start thinking about your Makoto heroes, whether it's now or that last pick, right?
Yeah, he's played a lot of Pengalier. Also, Puck is kind of a signature of his. Those are kind of the heroes I look at as being good. I think Puck is good at kind of avoiding some of these Tusk and Marcy rotations. That's probably the hero that most stands out for me here, but they're using a lot of time for this. Generally, Talon will last pick 23 Savages heroes, so this is usually his mid, but they go for TA, actually. Okay.
Okay. All right, a little bit of flex there. You know, earlier in the draft, I was looking at Bat Rider for Makoto. That's been a really nice tempo setter, but now you're up against Tusk Maiden along with a Marcy. There's so many ways to disengage, replace heroes all over the place, and Bat Rider becomes a little more tricky. But your thoughts on TA here, because I've usually seen her in the safe lane. Is there a bit of flex?
Yeah, a little bit, but TA going way back when SF was picked all the time was considered at least somewhat of a counter because you've got the refraction to address raises when it comes to the mid lane play, but TA just looks stronger out of the safe lane. You don't usually want to go this mid lane bottle TA. You're not really a big playmaker. I think the hero just is more comfortable and drafts just feel more natural when you're playing safe lane TA, particularly with a Doom offlane. Like you're looking at a pretty greedy draft if you're doing TA mid and then picking some kind of 23 Savage carry to go with it. I think you almost need to be picking some mid laner that can, play with less farm here. Secret don't seem to think that's the case because they're actually banning Morph.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the Morph against the SF earlier on. Still a threat, I guess?
Yeah, I guess a threat. I just feel like a Morph TA Doom draft is like asking to be punished.
Get run over.
Yeah, particularly like I guess Secret have to pick first, but like there's a lot of things Secret can pair with this SF for physical damage, building taking that can cause a lot of problems.
5 seconds remaining.
One final ban for them. I'm still leaving heroes like that Puck in the pool. We'll see what their thoughts are here as Poppy talking across the Heen, deciding what the option is, and it's going to be the Troll Warlord.
Targeting these carries, expecting the Makoto TA mid. Well, Talon banning out Viper and Bat, protecting the TA pick. Some of these heroes that Secret have played safe lane. I say carry Viper, but it's not really a carry, but they played the safe lane Viper. Bat Rider's also been this hero that they play in multiple roles. So given Secret's draft, there is questions about who's going to be playing what and what these lanes are going to be.
And Secret with all their lucky hats on. Zayat's with his. Resolution wearing a branded Team Secret baseball cap as well. Looking for this last pick to round out their draft. I really just wouldn't be surprised here. Last day of groups, Team Secret, they play around and try something like, I don't know, safe lane Marcy or a Tusk for Crystalist. There's a lot of wonky things they can do.
Yeah, I'm kind of like, we haven't really seen it with Secret, but like a safe lane SF versus Doom just seems like a solid option, particularly if you pair it with like a Tusk. Then you can have like a CM Marcy lane in the off lane, but that does maybe put some of your players in different lanes. I mean, Puppy's played this offlane support a few times, even though he's the 5. Slada comes out, so an aggressive offlane option. I feel like this is most likely Rezo's hero, but a lot of questions. Yeah, who's playing what here? Is
mid Marcy?
I feel like SF is most likely mid, and I think Marcy Slaughter are the side lane cores. I'm just wondering which one is going to be Chrysalis and which is Rezo, but like with the hero pool Chrysalis has had, like he's been playing these safe lane Vipers and things, so he's kind of playing more sacrificial, more offlane type heroes.
When they've played the SF, it's been 2 for Chrysalis and 2 for Nisha, so it's a 50-50 split there. As Talon, they grab a Visage as their last hero.
Safe lane
so there's
Doom.
now a safe lane Doom? Yeah.
It was Talon alongside Entity who are doing a lot of this safe lane Doom if you go back to like the 2 or 3. And it was something they were very comfortable on, had a lot of success with, and it just made, you could pick this Doom early, and then you get to a point where it's like, oh, Doom offlane, our draft feels too greedy, we're going to get punished, particularly with a TA mid. Where do you get all the farm for this? Well, you get the farm for it by playing Doom out of the safe lane, and then getting this more team-oriented hero in the Visage. You can get the Wraith Pack, get the team items, and play with a bit less farm. This is a really solid draft, I feel like, from Talon with the last pick Visage.
Yeah, I mean, Chrysalis with that Slardar, he's played it twice before in the series against Beast Coast, so something that's slipped my attention there a little bit, but a carry here that they have grabbed previously. No similar elements, though, it feels like, where Beast Coast had like Enigma SF, Slark, Lycan, Centaur, Bloodseeker, lots of these melee heroes to allow Slardar to kind of bully them in the lane and through the game. Here, maybe it was just expecting he was going to be against the Doom.
Yeah, and if they don't do any kind of lane swap, suddenly you're going to maybe end up with safe lane Slardar, and it's a Visage Nyx lane, which Slardar's a lot less happy about. So a lot's going to come down to, I think, how these two teams set up their lanes. There could be some mind games, some swaps happening to make sure that teams get their preferred lanes, because it does feel pretty key. If Crystallis can get off to a good start in this Slardar, Secret's draft can snowball pretty hard. Slardar plus SF, all the minus armor, they're going to melt Roshan, they're going to be able to just delete heroes with the physical damage. Talon do need to kind of get some of those early items, particularly, you know, the TA, Dragonlance, Deso, Blink Dagger, BKB, before they're quite ready to fight and take Roshan themselves.
We'll see how it pans out. Both teams getting into game now. First match of the best of two series between Talon and Team Secret, and Talon needing victories here to keep their hopes and dreams of TI alive. Secret already secured into the playoffs. Still got pride and the potential to warm yourselves up for playoffs, to keep on playing for, as we'll get out across the map. And Nisha with a very, very, very handsome Shadow Fiend here. He's got the Crow, the Raven, and once upon a Midnight Dreary, he's pondering about how he's going to walk up this high ground and spot out any members of Talon to maybe catch with Rezo's Marcy. Ice Shards off the mark, though, and Talon, they slip away.
It's like a very bird-themed cast here. Talon and Ravens and...
Anything else? We've got maybe a Wild Wing being stolen by Hyde. You know, got some birds from the jungle they can use with the Enchantress.
Right, Visage is a bird with wings.
Familiars.
There we go. But
Plenty of them.
So who's scouting out what lanes here? For now, 23 Savage positioned to go to this top lane. And where is Rezo and Crystallis going to go? Both of them hovering around mid as if they want to kind of see what these lanes might be. They're going to see Doom top, so does look like they're going to be able to get that Slardar versus Doom lane that Secret would like.
Battle begins.
And potential to swap these lanes for Talon, it doesn't look like they're going to take that option right now.
Yeah, just stick it into the lanes. Doom up top with what looks like a Nyx Assassin. Double melee there, going to be facing off against a Slardar Tusk. So double melee against double melee. This feels like a rarity nowadays.
Yeah, this is not the support lanes I would have expected. I would have thought they would be putting the Ench in the top lane, but giving this bottom lane with double ranged harass, you've got like Impetus plus Soul Assumption. The ability to lane against this for Secret is going to feel really tough.
Yeah, if Puppy's Maiden even steps out of the tree line, going to get caught out here with a lot of damage. And Resolution, the safe lane, Marcy, already taking a bit of a beating from Hyde and KP. As top lane, two-man stun. Q trying to save up Savage as he was trapped inside the Ice Shards. Trading blows there as the regen battle early days in the laning stage. So vitally important to keep yourself up and running in fighting shape.
Yeah, definitely a lane where I feel like we're going to be seeing a lot of action up top. Slardar wants to build up those bash charges. I mean, 4 melee heroes in one lane. It's just, you're asking for a bit of a tumble here as Zayats and Q just trading blows and doing what they can.
In that mid lane, Makoto 4-1, Anisha 7-0. Good start for the Shadow Fiend with his mangoes and razors.
Even though in the going way back, this was kind of TA favorite. These days, this should be a Shadow Fiend favorite matchup. You just have to right click off the refraction, then you just hit some razors, and it just puts a lot of pressure onto Makoto's TA. He's going to have to go for the bottle to kind of maintain some regen to stick around and stay in this lane. And once SF hits level 3, these razors are going to really start to hurt. But instantly refracts and dodges one. Nicely done. That's one of the key things I think from Makoto in this lane is using refraction to dodge raise damage.
Yeah, definitely curious to see how it goes with the removal of small camp several months ago. Both of these heroes would have loved it. Yeah, Rezo and Puppy taking a tremendous amount of damage there. You said it, the long range hits in from Hyde and KP. Nice
little clarity cancel there from KP. He's gone for the Null Talisman, so would like to see some kind of magic stick in these side lanes just with all the spells and spam coming out. I think KP would benefit a lot from it, but once the boost first, a lane where, I mean, both these side lanes feel like lanes where got a very good chance of seeing some early action and early kills.
Yeah, I'm keeping my eyes on top as well. Like Zayat and Chrysalis about to hit level 2 on the Tusk. So we're going to have that tag team to play around with now. But a good stun from Q holds them back, giving Savage a bit of breathing room again. And yeah, what? Chainmail plus Wraithband stacking up all this armor.
You just got it, it feels like. I mean, he's sitting on 13 armor, which is nice, but it's still a lane that, with the tag team, has that potential to just chase you down because of all the slows. So anytime this lane is pushed away from the tower, I think Talon have to play very carefully, especially if Nyx isn't there. Nyx is a little bit far away, doesn't have... Okay, coming back, you may need this Impale.
Oh, they're splitting nicely though, Secret. Getting in there with Zayat, but now he's blocked in a little bit. Walks it off.
The threat of the Impale enough to prevent them from chasing any further. But
Well, yeah, I often forget that Slithering Crush has a slow, a 3-second slow, in fact, on top of the stun.
yeah, you combo that with tag team and it's slow, and 23 Savage is going to be forced to kind of hug his tower a bit here. Does push forward with the Scorched Earth.
Immediate bash and tag team, though, and Q, again, the 2-man stun. Keep Secret at bay, but it's not an easy time for this 23 Savage Doom so far.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised they didn't try and, get... Basically, they gave Secret these lanes. Like, once Secret scouted out, they sent the side on top, and it does look like 23 Savage is backing off now, probably just to try and find a creep to devour. Fortunately for him, not... Oh, yeah, he finds the mana ore. Perfect. There we go. That's a
good one.
That's the Doom one. Yep.
That's what he needs. If he can keep zapping Zayat and Chrysalis and remove some of the slows and stuns they've got in this laning stage.
Yeah. It's the one game where I think you would have preferred the Ogre Frost Armor, maybe, but this is still very nice with the mana regen.
Yeah, even coming in to try and contest the pull from Zayat. And Chrysalis here as well, though, is just looking at the CS board. Team Secret, 3 cores right up at the top. 14 denies on the Slardar, 24-5 on the Shadow Fiend. Pretty close with the TA. Then you've got Marcy doing a tremendous job, even against all of the harassment in bottom lane, farming up a Storm.
Not sure what that Centaur stun was about, but I think the big thing for Secret winning these lanes is just they got the lanes they wanted. They have the CM versus the Enchantress. They have the Slardar versus the Doom. Basically, all 3 of these lanes have been set up in such a way that Secret have an edge.
And they're on the Doom again. Savage inside the Igloo. First blood spilled. And it's Chrysalis to bring down 23 Savage. This time, nothing Q could do.
That's definitely going to start becoming a little concerning, because he can't just easily come back to this lane and expect to be able to find farm as well. They do get some damage out on Zayat's Tusk here, but no real kill threat.
Yeah, they're very least securing a pull into the large camp. So a bit more room to maneuver there for Talon. It feels like they need to be getting more out of this bottom lane with this Ancient Visage. And now level 4 on KP. But Hyde he's leaving the lane and maybe thinking about controlling up this 6-minute rune spawn.
Yeah. I think these runes with I guess neither mid laner is like this amazing ganking hero, but like an Invis SF could go for a Requiem play. A Haste rune is always going to be able to set up kills as well. So both mid laners, of course, want to grab these power runes. Even just a DD is going to allow TA to like maybe power farm some neutrals or ancients. See 6-man rune being fought over up top.
Yeah, Nisha with a sentry already clearing out one of the traps. And a DD rune has spawned bottom. So Makoto going to grab it, be able to push out this mid wave a little bit harder, and yeah, go into jungle.
Probably one of the best runes I think you could get. Usually you're looking for the playmaking runes, but I think as a TA, a farming rune is amazing. Doesn't have any stacks to fall back to, but still a potential kill here. They're going in mid. Looking for a Hurricane play.
Yeah. No, won't find it though. Nisha quick off the mark to get behind his tower, and even Puppy TPing in here. Observer Ward's spotting Hyde's movements as well.
Yeah, I think it's Puppy's job, just mirror the Enchantress, go wherever she does. Top lane, they've gone in on the Doom again. No follow-up from the Tusk here. This is just the Slardar who's almost level 6. That level 6 is going to, I think, just ruin this Doom's lane. I don't think he can play top once Slardar has Corrosive Haze.
Probably not. Q just relegated to pulling. Try and keep that wave dragged back to the Dire side. Yeah, very, very quiet one, though, it feels like, from KP and Hyde. Farming jungle, pushing out the wave, keeping this Visage in the lane, but it's not been a a tremendous performance, whereas Resolution 36 and 12, Marcy closing in on level 6, already has phase boots, bracer. As soon as she gets Unleash here, probably able to 1v2 this lane, maybe get some kills.
Yeah, they just can't really ever kill Rezo or do much to pressure him. They're just trying to get KP's level 6, it feels like, and then they can make plays from there. I think for Talon, the one good thing with how these lanes are going is that TA mid has just, been free farming away, similar to the SF, but the TA is their key hero. Like, they don't mind Doom having a bit of a rough lane as long as TA gets farm and they, build towards some of those scary TA mid-game item timings.
Oh, there it is, Rezo. Yep. Unleash with a little bit of help from Puppey. This maxed out sidekick doing a great amount of damage to kill off KP pre-level 6. I will come in towards mid though, Talon, guarding the Arcane Rune bottom for Mikoto. He's getting a little bit of chip damage on the tier 1 mid, but nothing to write home about.
Pretty unconventional game. Nobody, like, on the secret side seems to care about these runes. It feels like Nisha's just told his team, like, it's fine, I don't need runes. This TA can't do anything with runes except farm. Just focus on these side lanes. Typically, Dota games these days are played much more around mid laners getting these runes and ganking side lanes, but when you have a mid matchup like SF versus TA, we're kind of going back to what some of the mid laners used to be, which is these carries that just want to farm, and plays are made elsewhere on the map without them.
Yeah, push out the way, fall back to jungle. Yep. And no small camp, but Nisha will find large camp and even a stack on the Ancients here, it looks like. But this is where lanes have to be vacated by Talon. Doom has dipped out of top, back into the jungle, trying to farm up his Hand of Midas. And it looks like just the kind of classic, same old item build as offlane Doom, right? The Blink BKB?
Yeah, I think nothing really changes when it's played in the safe lane. Just the general idea is just your draft is less greedy when you have safe lane Doom. You get the same kind of scaling and itemization out of the carry role. KP now level 6, has those familiars, and it looks like both supports are going to look to play around him. I kind of like this move. Both Doom and TA want to farm and be greedy. The question is, does Secret counterplay this game? They should know Doom and TA don't want to join in farming, so if they want to fight, they could, bring numbers in, but given the state of their game and how well, Slaughter's controlling this top lane, SS free farming, they don't really need to defend this tower, even though it is only a 3-man push.
I don't think I've seen these familiars before. The cosmetic on them, and they're like faceless familiars. They don't have heads. They're just like this bit of stone ornamentation on top of them. But there we go, tier 1 tower. 4 heroes down here. Well, grabbed on that objective, but of course Chrysalis has already taken the one there with his Mask of Madness and opens up the top part of the map. Increase their farm even further, while it always just feels so good for both of these mid laners. You talked about it, they are farming away. Taking that tier 1, it automatically safeguards your triangle and your Ancients.
Yeah, Dota just feels so much easier to play once that tower's down and gives you this full access into the enemy jungle as well to kind of farm. Hide in some trouble top, that's the Mask of Madness, and nobody can really go and lane against this Slaughter. I mean, if Talon want to bring numbers, they can try and deal with him, but that's going to require like a Nyx Assassin level 6, I feel like, to set up any kind of a play. And until Nyx hits 6, I think Talon are forced to play this kind of passive style of Dota. And they've got no way to really punish the secret greed right now.
Yeah, the parallels between Chrysalis and ATF is pretty wild, honestly. Like, they both basically play position 3 in terms of farm priority for their team. Similar hero pools with the Slardars, the Monkey Kings, and stuff like that. Razor as well. Secret utilizing Chrysalis here to really bully back Team Talon in that top lane. And they're bringing 3 heroes up here, but Nyx not level 6 yet. Hyde still at level 4 on the Enchantress. Not really the ability to push Secret out of this top jungle.
It feels like Secret are going to hit their item timings first here, which is going to cause problems for Talon. Like, right now, this super passive game, it's like always like, okay, well, who's a favorite? Well, one, the team who's getting more farm, which is Secret. They're just being a bit more greedy. They're splitting up on the map more. Like, they push top tower with just Slardar. As Doom comes out on top, that's going to be a support kill. Not something I think Secret are too worried about, because they're getting so much more farm on the map, but they're going to hit this Blink Slardar timing where Talon still want to keep farming. Doom needs more time to come online. Same story for the TA, so Secret are going to be able to really push the tempo soon, go for that early Roshan, and just make a lot of early smoke plays with some of these item timings, most primarily this Blink Dagger.
You sure? Thinking about the Requiem there. And Q does get the carapace back onto the frostbite, and KP with his familiars chasing Puppey, but in comes the raises, the snowball, and Hyde about to die while Puppey he finally falls to the shard golems. But Team Secret, right outside this Roche pit, get a tremendous victory, and there we go. You called for it, straight into the pit off the back of a couple of support kills.
Yep. Sidekick minus armor. Roche just doesn't exist. He feels
Quick
like
and
a
easy Aegis.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tag team as well. Beautiful positioning for Secret here.
Yep.
Still waiting for this TA to finish off Deso, and then it's still a scramble towards your Hurricane Pike or Blink or BKB. And quite often nowadays feels like Templar Assassin is like an item behind, even if she's tied in net worth with her opponent.
Yeah, she's going to take some time to be ready to get too involved, and even when she does, it's going to be hard to reliably just charge in when there's both SF and Slar and Marcy. Like, all three of these, like, there's three cores you kind of got to worry about. SF going to the Manta, which is often the carry build you want to go against TA. You just burn through that refraction that much faster. It's hard for the Doom to kind of ever Doom SF2. He blinks on you, lifts his arm, and suddenly you Manta, and he doesn't know which one's real, so...
Yeah.
Very tricky game, and here comes Secret with the Blink reveal.
Straight up catch on the Visage. Zayat controls KP. And this is going to relinquish control of the mid-tier one. Nisha already opening up on it. Frontlining and holding that Aegis.
Well, they'll just go from tower to tower, objective to objective, any kind of smoke on Slaughter. Like, a two-man smoke is all you need, and Hyde down bottom is kind of protecting Makoto here, but... Oh, he's going to get jumped on himself. Easy kill.
Oh! Level 4 Bash of the Deep with a Corrosive Haze. Significant pain for the Enchantress to withstand.
Yeah, so much goes back to the way that I feel like Talon didn't try and get the lanes that would have given them a better start. They've just given this Slaughter the freest game, and now they're paying the price.
Yeah, and KP is getting closer to this Wraith Pact, but he's going to get potentially found out in the mid lane. Savage dead up top to Resolution, though, as Puppey pairs up with the Marcy, and Doom was expended as well.
Doom is not going to really amount a whole lot. SF just invading jungle now with a Haste Rune 2. Not going to find any kills, just looking to take away farm from the Talon hands. All Talon can really...
There's nothing there from side. It's just the fact that like they're hunting in all three lanes. Chrysalis is ready to jump bot. Mid lane, they were looking for KP. Top lane, they're killing the Doom. And Talon just being pushed back in every spot. Now being jumped in the mid lane. Level 5 Enchantress, 15 minutes in. Feeling the pain from Chrysalis, but the turnaround from Q and KP. Yeah. Really well done there to kill off the Slardar and the chase towards Zayat. The Requiem, Nisha winds it up, fears them back, turns onto the Doom, and they'll bring down 23 Savage. Killing off a big target. Some retribution from Secret there after losing their Chrysalis Slardar.
And that's what Talon need to do, is like somehow find a way to kill this Slardar. Like punish him when he blinks in or plays too aggressive with the chain stun, but they got a little bit too greedy and a little bit too, I think, excited because of that one kill. Walking into that Requiem, giving away another Doom kill. That's the third death for 23 Savage, who, despite his net worth, is not having a great game. He's getting some okay farm, but it's still a tough time for him, as it is for Q, who gets picked off in the top lane.
Yeah, unfortunate. Rezo's feeling himself. He's had a great game. 4-0 here on the Marcy. And the fact that Nisha, with another 2 minutes remaining on Aegis, can very freely frontline with a catapult behind him and get a very early tier 2, 16 minutes in, is going to unlock the outpost for Secret here.
Yeah, not a terrible trade for Talon getting this mid-tier 1, but at some point they have to think about taking a fight. They definitely want this Aegis to expire first, but they've got a little bit of time. BKB up now on 23 Savage's Doom, the Deso on TA. They'd love to get both these Blink Daggers before fighting, but even like a Blink BKB Doom, it just feels like Secret are all physical damage.
Rezo. Familiar stuns. Catching 23 Savage, you're right. Yeah, Chrysalis and Zayat. Straight in onto him. While Rezo was hunting in the mid lane and catching out the KP Visage. It's just dominoes toppling over here. And Secret find kill after kill, tower after tower. Using this first Aegis to just stomp out any hopes that Talon had in game 1.
And they kind of understand all Talon can do is try and run away and farm parts of the map, and well, Slaughter's the perfect hero to chase heroes around on the map. Blink Dagger plus Guardian Sprint, just zoom through the river and stuff, and Talon are just being hunted. Even missing a Blink Crush there, he still easily kills off 23 Savage's Doom. Like, this is the Doom build, but it doesn't feel like it's going to do a whole lot against physical damage.
No, just punching up and killing off birds. Yep. KP, does he have a... He does have a resummon. Gonna have to use it, though. It's Team Secret. Nisha just pops his Manta style and opens up on this mid-tier 2. Aegis is about to be reclaimed, so the Hurricane back into the stun, and Doom going to catch out Nisha here. The timing, is it going to be good enough? The Aegis is about to expire. 1 second remaining, and he's dead. It is well timed by Talon. Right on the edge, but they kill off Nisha. Hunting Puppey now with a stun from Q. They catch the Maiden on the retreat. Some comeback potential appearing, but Puppey, okay. Attempted play with a Ghost Scepter freezing field, cut short by KP.
Wow. This game was looking dire for Talon, but that's a sick play. I mean, we've seen these kind of Aegis baits where you like play around the exact timer where it's going down, but to just leave him ticking while doomed up. The Hurricane into the Impale was absolutely perfect as an initiation, and Secret weren't ready for that one. They just stuck around a little bit too long and didn't respect Talon's playmaking abilities.
Is Crystallis looking to solo kill this Doom? Oh, they've got the Zayats coming. So start off with the Blink Crush, get some bashes going. Now the Snowball with the Walrus Punch, the tag team and the right-click damage. It's enough for Secret. As Rezo, he came in from behind trying to close in on KP and Q, attempting to save the Doom, but now it's Secret on the front foot again.
This is the problem. Like, it's got this BKB, but it's not helping keep him alive. He wants a Blink Dagger, desperately needs even just a casual plate mail. Has a Shivers queued up. Maybe Lotus Orb will help him out since you can get rid of the Corrosive Haze, but Doom's game has just been absolutely miserable.
And Nyx Assassin. Oh, he's still got Carapace level 4 to play with, so Crystallis, wise decision there. Not having his Zayat's Blink. Holds back a little bit. Snowball connects. It looks like Talon, though, being dived into their tier 3s by Resolution's Marcy.
Just so quick, in, out, gets the kill, and you've already used your stun and your Carapace. That's why Tusk was able to kind of go in, bait it out, and set that kill up. And they'll get the tier 2 tower, this time without an Aegis, but they've got the kills to make sure there's no plays that Talon can make to catch them by surprise.
Another quick tier 2. I gotta feel so good as Team Secret here, just not waiting and farming for next Aegis and Roshan, but getting your spots on the map. Are now pivoting top. Clear out a big wave here for Resolution and Puppey. And try and kick Talon out of that top jungle where Mikoto has been farming very quickly.
Yeah. This is an adjustment though. 23 Savage just buys the casual Ghost Scepter. Says no blink, no casual plate mail. Like even a casual plate won't save me. Just wants that Ghost Scepter to keep himself alive. You're against 3 right-clicking cores. Like, yeah, BKB Doom is your classic build, but like none of these cores care about BKB whatsoever.
Yeah, cool little adaptation. Invis Zayas, though, up at top. And, wait, hang on a second. Zayas had Blink queued up and he was nearly at it, but he's going Deso?
That seems pretty wild.
We've had a lot of these pos 4s transition into cores, but okay.
Didn't know that they definitely don't like right-click physical damage, but I guess why not?
More is more.
Yeah. I mean, the heroes are just going to get deleted. Like, they can have these, like, 2-man gang squads. Like, you don't need to bring everyone if you want to kill people, and BKBs are going to feel completely useless. Like, I don't even think TA wants to build BKB this game at all.
Oh, man, these familiars just keep getting picked off time and time again. No resummon for 35 for KP. Secret just hunting the birds. 2 minutes left for Aegis, a pretty long respawn timer here. So a bit more room for Talon to keep that farm going. And Doom and TA, they're still in the top of the pack there with the 3 secret cores. Just the Visage lagging behind a little bit. Expected though, KP doesn't really have a farming mechanism on this Visage. That's why his birds are being put so far forward to try and push these lanes and create that map space so they can fill the vacuum behind him.
Yeah, if somehow Talon can get to like all these defensive armor items, this game could start to swing, but Secret's just constantly hunting them.
Found the Visage. Straight onto KP and Rezo. BKB's up to blow up Hyde, and KP does get himself into the Gravekeeper's cloak. The shard there to heal him up at 23 Savage, being pummeled by Rezo. BKB up and the save from Q buys a bit of time for the Doom. Rezo can't go any further, so Savage is all right.
Maybe lost his birds. He just summoned them. They instantly get taken out. So more gold and something that's just going to be on cooldown when he respawns as well. So tough times for Talon. They want to it looked like they were trying to just linger around, and they probably feel like they have to contest this Roshan. Not that they can do so now. I'll blame Mikoto. Finds Rezo, but easy rebound escape.
And now the turnaround. Rezo, can he get in there with Chrysalis? The stun? Oh, Mikoto. That was close.
Yeah, that's as close as it gets. Roche back up in 30 seconds. Talon are alive as 5. We'll see if they go for any kind of a smoke play here. I think has a Blink Dagger coming out. Is that correct? Yeah, Blink Dagger on the Courier. So that gives them that Blink initiation. Has got the War Stomp to play around with it. So he's got that kind of Blink stun to lead things off for Talon.
Yeah, and a Force Staff on Q to give a bit more maneuverability as well. Maybe Savage blinks in, gets Force Staffed out if need be. And they do scan the Roche pit. Dire knows that Secret, they're in that area with 5 seconds to respawn. But they're eyeing up the mid lane where Tusk, Zayat's trying to finish off his Desolator. And he's going to get caught out here by Q. Start with a stun, and 23 Savage straight on top of Zayat. And Secret, they're in position here. Snowball buys time. He's baiting and tanking through all of the onslaught. Now Marcy getting doomed up. 23 Savage trying to focus down Marcy while Chrysalis. A lot of damage from Mikoto and Hyde. They blow up the slaughter, but this Requiem's huge. With the freezing field, Puppy shreds through the Doom. Hyde, Mikoto on the run now. It looks like Secret are out of options in terms of initiation, though. Zayat, I think he wishes he had a Blink Dagger here to keep giving chase. But the shards, pushes up to the high ground. Talon, they scrape away, but losing that Doom has got to hurt as Roshan starts to be attempted by Secret here.
A little low, but maybe some sidekick regen. They're going to be forced out of the pit here. We'll see a quick glimpse of this one. They just couldn't burst down the Tusk. He just lived through it all. Gets off a snowball in the end. And also the Doom, I think a decent target in Rezo there, but doesn't feel confident to chase him down to finish him off. So Rezo just disengages, comes back later on, and yeah, you kind of mentioned with the Requiem plus freezing field from the high ground, at that point Talon just has to get the hell out of dodge.
Yeah, now Secret all alive. Every ulti outside of the freezing field is ready. And one of them straight up used on Roche as he ceases to exist inside the pit. Disappears.
Okay. Easy does it. Yeah, Talon desperately need AC, Shivers, multiple Lotus Orbs. They need all the armor items they can get. The Lotuses get rid of the haze. The Shivers guard for the slows. They just need it all. Even then, I think the physical damage is going to somewhat overwhelm them.
Yeah. Did the Tusk have it yet? No? 500 gold away? Well, I'm kind of excited for this Tusk Deso. Because it used to be the carry build, right? You go Tusk mid, you buy Silver Edge, Deso, you go blow people up with a Walrus Punch crit. Pretty handy tool.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad item. I'm just shocked to see it because I feel like all these, like a Blink Dagger and utility items are just generally considered to be more impactful from the support role. If they lack damage, sure, it's one thing, but one thing the Secret Draft does not lack is damage.
Yeah, I kind of wonder what the comms were in terms of, did Zayat ask permission to buy this item? Did it, Puppy, is it all right if I do it?
No. He's having some fun. I mean, they're basically saying, we're not doing 3 cores, we're doing 4, maybe even 5 cores. Puppy, 5 position, known for getting his as well.
Yeah, top net worth of the supports. 6.5 grand for him. High ground attempt as the jump in from Marcy gets carapaced. The Chrysalis catches the TA. Force staffed away. The snowball comes back in though with a Walrus Punch. Mikoto's dead. Nisha with a double kill shreds through Talon. This high ground push, as quickly as it started, is going to come to an end now as they're just diving fountain. KP into the shard, does turn himself to stone, but when he comes back out, the Gargoyle going to get pummeled. 23 Savage doomed up Nisha, but that's the Aegis holding Shadow Fiend and Team Secret. They're just ripping them apart. Nisha with a triple kill, 4 Talon members dead. And, I mean, there's buildings to kill, boys. Go back for the barracks. Stop farming them in the fountain. Zayat's carapaced and he will pay the price. His insolence is punished.
Give him some tips. His own teammates. I don't think Talon's really got much to smile about right now with the way this game is headed. They didn't even end up finishing the SF off. And this is like they just drafted where it's like, who are you going to do? You Doom an SF there. He doesn't really care. None of these heroes actually get affected by Doom. They're not really relying on casting spells. And kind of talked about the draft. This is like every team has been banning Doom against Talon. And the reason Secret let it through and finally give Talon this hero is because they have an idea of how to play and draft into it. And we're seeing it here. 23 Savage, the carry Doom, just having nearly no impact on the game.
Yeah, all that net worth coming to nothing as we watch it back. And the initiation is so perfect from Team Secret. As soon as they saw the Nyx stun onto one hero, they knew they could jump in and have a very free time. Talon have a severe lack of disables and team fight abilities, so as soon as Nyx Assassin has shown himself, you get on top of him, on top of the TA, it's really just absolute freedom for Secret. A DD rune for Nisha now, breaking high ground. They see the Nyx again. If they can kill off Q here, it might just be lights out for Talon. Ghost Scepter from 23 Savage, gonna get him a bit of safety, but your buildings, they don't have the same luxury. They are open for the onslaught of physical damage from Team Secret as they dive tier 4s and immediately blow up with a single hit. Enchantress gets eviscerated by the SF, and Nyx Assassin, he's next up with a Blink Crush. They find the kill. Oh, Talon. Game one feels like it's all over now. You've got to buy back out of Nyx, but Nisha running straight back behind the tier 3s. GG is called as Mikoto gets caught.
Just overwhelming damage and no ability to fight into the physical damage. Just felt like Talon lacked any bite this game, and they were forced to play, I think, a kind of passive laning stage with some of the, the draft they went for this last pick Visage. I think the idea was fine. Like, okay, you think you're going to get Slaughter versus our Doom? Let's play the Doom safe lane, and we're going to have a Visage lane against Crystal's Slaughter. Well, all it took was one lane swap for Secret, and then they just dominate the early game. And the fact Talon just give him the lanes that Secret want is kind of just game over from there in many ways.
Yeah, it felt like a foregone conclusion. And the laning stage broke down, in particular, just Secret running rampant over their opponents. And I was looking across the scoreboard, both Rezo and Crystallis had the same amount of CS, similar amount of net worth. They really were playing with this Nisha, primary carry, but two further carries from both Slardar and the Marcy. Yeah. And Zayas did finish off his Deso at the end as well.
Good times, good times. I mean, you want overwhelming damage, just add a little bit more to it. I think if you're Talon, you're kind of reconsidering this first phase Doom pick, especially with the way Secret drafted and played here. Or you need to think about what picks go around it when they go for this like SF triple physical damage cores, combined with a 4-position Tusk that amps up all the physical damage as well. The end result was just a Talon draft that didn't really have a playmaker. You got TA Doom plus Visage, and also just doesn't really ever have a chance in a right-click battle. Like you're trying to go like triple fighting cores yourself, and the damage output is always going to favor the Secret side with what they picked up.
Yeah, and then the flexibility felt nice at the beginning where he's like, okay, this KP Doom could be 23 Savage, you flip things around, but sometimes that flexibility can backfire if you don't have the full draft around it. Yep. As you see there, Nisha gets his early BKB, the Dragon Lance, and a well-deserved MVP for the Shadow Fiend, 10, 1, and 6 on this Nisha SF, who basically just sat in lane for the first 10 minutes, just farming away, opposing the TA.
Yeah, I mean, it felt like the first 15 minutes of this game were kind of boring. Let's be real here. Like, both teams were just like, we're chilling, we're getting our farm. It wasn't until Crystallis got his Blink Dagger that the game like really popped off. From there, Secret would just go, go, go. They were chasing all around the map. Anywhere Talon tried to farm, they were being hunted. To me, I would say Slaughter is the MVP because he's the one that set the tempo and made all the plays to put Talon on the back foot. Just hell of a showing from Crystallis, and it almost felt like a little bit too passive at times from Secret in the early game, but then they really just flipped the switch later on.
Yeah, holding their energy for that last burst, the sprint towards the end with a diving fountain, and there's the man of the hour, 10, 1, and 6. Great stuff out of Nisha's Shadow Fiend. Even if the rest of Secret also pulling their weight. It's a very, very good team effort here in game one up against Talon. And Talon, they're the ones who need to be winning these games. Team Secret are already secured the playoff spot out of Group B, whereas Talon, they're down in 9th place, needing victories, gods.
Yeah, this feels like make or break for them. Checking the results from the other game, Entity did lose their game one. That's the team that Talon is tied with currently for the top elimination spot. So the bottom elimination spot was TSM. I'm not sure how their games are going, but you know, it's do or die time for Talon. Like, you really want that game 2 win to kind of guarantee either being safe or tiebreakers. Getting 0-2 here could mean you face elimination.
That could be lights out. We'll find out what happens, though. A quick break, and we'll return with Game 2 of Secret versus Talon. See you then.
reality. We're the Vanguard. We're with the best. Let's raise our shields.
Welcome back, everyone. Here we are with Game 2 between Talon and Team Secret about to get underway. It's all coming down to this, gods, where we've got three-way tiebreakers. We might be looking at tiebreakers here in Group B as well. What's the rundown of the situation between TSM, Talon, and Entity?
Yeah, so coming into this series, there was 3 teams at the bottom of this group, with TSM 1 win below Entity and Talon, who are tied. Entity, as well as TSM, Entity haven't lost yet, but I think they're about to get 2-0'd, whereas TSM have just lost game 1. So that's good news for Talon, because right now, if all these teams just get 2-0'd, TSM will get eliminated, and then Talon, as well as Entity, will be tied, and they'll play a tiebreaker, two-way tiebreaker. So,
okay,
for Talon, you want to win. If you get a win and Entity get 2-0'd, all of a sudden, they don't have to play those tiebreakers. So there's still a potential for Talon to avoid those tiebreakers. There's also potential for them to just get straight up eliminated. There's also potential for tiebreakers. So one of 3 things can happen for them.
Lots of opportunities. Yeah. I mean, thinking about that, which one would you prefer? A 3-way tie of best of ones, or would you prefer the 2-way tie where you have a best of 3 against your opponents?
As a team, or?
As a team, yeah. If you were playing playing as Talon or whoever.
Probably the best of 3. It just feels like, a more honest way to play Dota. It's like, we're gonna, we get to prepare our draft for game 1, win or lose, you make your adjustments, you go into game 2. It feels like a real series. The BO1 3-way round robin, it's like the best way to resolve a 3-way tie, but it's chaotic, and also the tie sometimes doesn't resolve. Then you got to play it again and maybe again. So
round after round.
It's not a very clean solution, even if it is the best solution. So I think most teams will prefer that BO3, unless you're like a super underdog and you're trying to like upset people in BO1s. But most teams believe in themselves and think they can win a BO3.
Yeah, and I guess, you're both down at the bottom of the group stage, so there's not likely to be an underdog against a top team kind of situation there. But we'll see how it all breaks down. Talon still, in the moment right now, they are looking for wins. If they get victories, they can kind of look towards securing their place in the playoffs for TI and ignore what's going on around them, ignore the noise of Entity, TSM, playing up against Fnatic and them, and just figure out what they have to do in this game, in this draft, because game 1, their first pick Doom just didn't work out for them.
Yeah, I think, need to rethink, either how they draft around the Doom or just not draft it. It's kind of weird because every team's been banning it against them, and they finally get it, and they just lose in such a dominating fashion. I almost feel like you just kind of have to ignore it. Games like that, like they're wishing they had the Enigma or something against triple cores, 2 melee carries on the enemy team. You wish you have a black hole, but of course that's what Secret's prioritizing because they feel more threatened by it. So we'll see where Talon go game number 2. I'm not sure there's an obvious answer about how to approach this draft, but hopefully they've got some ideas from Always Want to Fly, their coach.
Yeah, I think I said 8 games in a row, but it was actually more. It was like 10 games in a row where they weren't allowed to get their Doom, or 11 even, because there was a series where Tundra picked Doom and Block picked it away from them, which I didn't factor in either. So it was a long time coming for them to actually get their hands on the hero, and then failing spectacularly with it has got to be a damper on their morale. And here we go. Game 2 draft is on our screens as Team Secret take on Talon. Top of the group against bottom of the group, just reiterating that fact. And Talon looking for every opportunity to win a team fight, to win a Roshan battle, to win this game.
Well, we'll see what those adjustments are going to be. Talon already banning the SF. I like it. That's definitely, I think, means they can double down on Doom. They've kind of taken away the hero that was most problematic, I think, for their Doom draft, and also just enabled the Marcy and Slarter to dish out so much more damage. So they don't have to first pick Doom necessarily. They could wait to pick it with their, pick number 4 of the draft. I think that may be also another way where they can protect the Doom, but for now,
10
you know,
seconds
a
remaining.
different set of bans means Talon are going to find themselves in a different situation.
5 seconds remaining.
Still in high spirits, though. Nice to see, you know, smiles and chuckles there from Talon.
Yeah, that's my boy KP. You know, people thought I was biased last game. This time we've got an Aussie playing, so I'm trying to be even
Here we
more
go.
biased.
Here we go. Here we go.
I mean, the Talon, at least win or lose, could still be safe. We'll see how things kind of pan out for them, but definitely a team who's had an amazing journey throughout the DPC year. And this is a team who started in Division 2 at the start of the year. Didn't make it out of Division 2 the first tour. It wasn't until Tour 2 when they swapped up their roster that they made it to Div 1. And from Div 2 to Div 1 and going to the Major. So, you know, I think Talon getting eliminated in groups and doing bad at the Texas Major shouldn't necessarily be thought of as like some disaster for them, considering that they are such a new, young team. You know, even though they have some veterans and some, you know, star players from the region, they're a team that's been pretty newly formed.
Yeah, still looking to find their groove and their identity or style, as Leshrac is the first pick for them, one of the kings of the tournament so far. He was right up there in the first couple of days with the highest pick rate and still looking like a very solid hero. And I kind of wonder, you know, watching the player cams, what the funny joke was there, because prior to this pick, KP was like nodding his head saying, yeah, go for it, and having a good chuckle. Maybe this Lesh is, you know, a three-way flex across 1, 2, and 3 rolls.
Yeah, they seem not too phased by the game 1 loss, and great to see all the smiles there, but I'm sure Secret something up their sleeves here. Definitely the flex potential of Lesh makes drafting a little bit trickier. I think particularly with Talon, 23 Savage has like a really wide hero pool. We've seen carry Doom last game. We've seen carry Lena. You know, you get a very wide array of heroes from him alongside, you know, your traditional carries, your Morphlings, your TBs, your hard carries. He'll play those just as well on top of the kind of fringe picks.
And there is Lena,
Yep.
the team secret.
Well, that's their answer to the Leshrac. Like, we're going to outrange this Leshrac, right-click him down, not let him get up close to our carry to dish out Pulse Nova and Diabolic Edict damage. I think very likely to be the niche hero for the mid lane, but, you know, I think at the same time, I mentioned some of these other teams doing safe lane Lena, maybe something that also Secret consider.
Definitely a possibility. And you mentioned the Doom as maybe a 4th pick here for Talon going into that phase of banning. Is that still something you look for, or do we just ditch the Doom and go for something? Oh, Clockwork, that's a good pick.
I was going to say ditch because I think, again, Secret have gone very heavy in this, like, physical damage with Tusk, tag team, Lena right clicks, and 2 heroes that Doom, well, like we saw last game, like these heroes that sit back and right click, you get a Doom on them, they don't maybe really care about it. So nothing about Secret's draft to me says Doom is a good pick right now. So I think waiting is the right call. They get a support. I think given that Leshrac is almost exclusively a core, whether it's 1, 2, or 3, getting a support to pair with it, that synergizes well with it, and also causes Secret problems. Getting on top of the Lena is always the name of the game when you're playing against this hero. So Clockwork, a great choice.
And pretty good at securing lanes as well. If you do have in mind, you know, another ranged carry here, maybe for 23 Savage, a POS 5 Clockwork can work out. POS 4 Clockwork can work in a lane with Lesh if you want to. So lots of options for them in these first 2 picks of the draft.
It's kind of interesting to see Secret drafting there. I felt like Puppy was kind of just chilling, sitting back, not even necessarily saying a whole lot. Of course, he is, you know, the captain of this team. He's not the one actually in the drafter's seat. Chrysalis is the guy with the draft icon, but Puppy perhaps taking a slightly lesser role when it comes to the draft, at least to some extent.
And you have Heen sitting in Chrysalis's chair, so I think it's Heenalis, the actual person clicking the buttons, yeah.
Okay. But yeah, letting the coach handle the dirty business of picking the heroes, and we'll see where that leads things here. They didn't ban the Chen in the first phase, but Talon still get a chance to ban it here, second phase, and make sure that Puppy doesn't get his hands on Chen. The Enchantress still in the pool, though. I think something to be equally afraid of, particularly with the way Puppy has just gotten so much farm on the hero, uses it to be this like frontline scouting. I'm just going to run up a cliff by myself and you can't really touch me.
I mean, there's still a lot out there you've got to be afraid from Resolution's hero pool as well, though. Like this second phase of ban's kind of difficult. You know, ban a carry, ban a support, maybe now ban an offlane and just go across the board and ban one of every role. Try and remove some of these options from Secret. Yeah, Secret banned the Beastmaster themselves. There's still a lot out there for Rezo to pull out. His Mirana was a spectacular one back in LCQ. I could see that again here. You know, pairings with the Tusk. That's what I'm looking for.
I think, yeah, there we go. Just as you say, the hero, they ban it. The right-clicking semi-carries just feel really nice to play with Tusk. This does leave Viper in the pool. I think that's something I feel like Secret have looked pretty good on. Maybe there is some worries about picking like too many squishy ranged right-clickers with Viper Lina. I think one of the strengths of their draft last game, like they had all this physical damage and scaling, but both Marcy and Slaughter are like these nice frontline BKB heroes that are really tanky and hard to kill. A hero like Marcy also has an escape spell, so going like a Viper here maybe kind of makes your draft a bit more susceptible and gives Talon openings to make some nice plays.
Yeah, definitely could do. Going for the Puppy Bane now. Give them a lot of potential in the lane just to whittle away at the clock or whoever he's against. Sets up very nicely as well. You know, Tusk and Bane very good at starting fights as long as they can smoke and group up together. And I'm kind of looking for another hero to pair in because you'll have this trio of Bane, Lina, Tusk that can play together. But often Lina wants to be off-map, hiding in fog, farming. So a Rezo or a Chrysalis hero that can dish some damage into this control and catch they've got would be very nice.
Yeah, wondering what that might be. The Slider also still in the pool, something that Chrysalis has now played several times. Depending what Talon pick. I mean, for Secret, when it comes to picking up these last couple cores, it's these two Talon heroes that's going to kind of determine the direction the draft goes in. Lycan coming out. Talon looking to play at a certain tempo here with Lycan, Leshrac. Gives them a lot of vision control. And they've got a hero in the Clockwork that really utilizes this vision well. He's going to be able to start fights with that hook shot that can, you know, be played off with the Lycan Wolves that give all that great scouting vision.
5 seconds remaining.
But now you've given an opportunity with this. You know, yes, you have a double pick here, but the chance for Secret to go like Monkey King or Ursa is a real scary threat, I feel.
Yep, and that's why picking here, this is the hardest part of the draft for teams when you're playing with first pick, because you've got to kind of reveal like the majority of what your draft is trying to do, and you don't really know a whole lot. You see two supports and Alina, who's kind of a flex core, and even if you know it's going mid, you don't really know a whole lot of what Secret's doing with their draft. But what I do like is that Lycan is really good against the Bane, as well as the Lina. These are heroes that don't deal well with summons. You see these three Secret heroes, like there's some deep push from Lina, but you get on top of her with a helm creep, and it's going to cause problems. I feel like Secret with this pick now, the 8th pick, have to address the Lycan in some fashion, whether that's like a Sven or something that kind of deals with the helm creep and eats it, like, you know, the Night Stalker type heroes.
Ooh, yeah.
Something needs to come out that counters what Lycan is going to do this game.
Yeah, maybe like a Kunker or something if they want to really shift things around. Like it's going to be a Bloodseeker, so Rupture onto Lycan. And Bloodright to try and hold out on your tier 1 and clear out waves is pretty handy to have as well. Yep. And I guess with Bane, Lina, Tusk, you're looking at these lanes where they'll be shredding through people, giving Bloodseeker's Thirst a lot of emphasis and a lot of use in that first 10 minutes of the game.
It feels like a very different early game. I'm excited because last game's early game lane stage was a snooze fest. So this time around, we've got Bloodseeker, Bane, Lina, Tusk. I mean, Lycan lane, maybe not the most hype, but like Jakira, Clockwork, it just feels like lanes where there's going to be a lot more brawling early on.
Team Secrets turn to ban.
Out goes the Mars, so now Talon pretty much knowing they can focus on Rezo heroes that want to be team fight starters. You know, Bloodseeker doesn't give you a lot in terms of AoE control or team fight, so you're just going to add that from your offlane hero, it looks like.
Yeah, it does feel like a game where we're going to see likely a more traditional Rezo hero. I think picking another like scaling core with Bloodseeker Lina is a bit too all in, and Secret's draft kind of lacks that team fight. Like if you're pushing towers with Lycan Leshrac, how do you stop a push? You need to beat it with some kind of team fight setup. So like your Marses, your Tide Hunters, these kind of big team fight ultimates that can kind of run in and frontline are pretty important against your push strats.
How do you feel about like a Magnus here
Secrets turn to ban.
for Team Secret?
It's definitely good. I think it's just a matter of it's a bit greedier than some of the other options, like the Mars, for example. The Tide Hunter, maybe you feel a bit less greedy about. But it also seems good because they want to push high ground and you get a blink skewer back. It's one of the best ways to stop a push is just these repositioning tools. So Magnus, good work.
Yeah, you've also got Rupture as well, right? Rupture
true.
into Skewer.
Yeah.
You got some fun plays there. You know, Tusk with an Aghanim Scepter kicking people around in the later game, but yeah, we'll see what happens. There's still that softer option of the Tide Hunter that you mentioned. That's
The
the
other
potential.
consideration is the lane. Like if you're going to be doing Tusk +1, like it's not a very like you normally want a range partner with Tusk. Like you still consider that. Like the range heroes aren't really the team fighters so much. Like your Vipers, your Razors, your Nature's Prophets. These heroes don't feel great. At the same time, also we're going to see what Talon pick. I think Rezo's waiting to see what Talon pick. Like we're theory crafting what he might play. He probably doesn't even know yet. He's just going to be looking for what's a good matchup against what Talon's carry is.
Yeah, he might just pick a Visage or something as the last pick. Come out a bit more conventional in terms of meta picks. But Talon need their position 1. It looks like they've got like the KP Lycan, the Lesh for Makoto. It's 23 Savage, who has been banned out. The TA, Drow, and Luna all gone for those tempo carries.
Yeah, what do they have in mind here? Maybe wonder if they're thinking of any Wolfbite synergy. You're not really seeing these Lycan drafts really played around the Wolfbite as much anymore, but there is potential for it. Also depends where they want to play their supports. Like is Jakiro going to the offlane? Then they may want a range carry to go with Clockwork. Or they may just be doing the Clock Lycan, and then you can pick a lot of things with Jakiro.
Oh, there it is.
Okay.
Tempo, tower push, lone druid for Talon.
Where's your deep push secret? I think that's maybe part of why they already picked the Bloodseeker. The Bloodright plus the Lean is pretty good in terms of deep push, but Lone Druid's definitely a hero that does not care about this Rupture whatsoever. You just stand your ground and hit buildings.
5 seconds remaining.
I mean, is it something simple as something like going back to a Death Prophet here for Team Secret? Add in a bit of tower push. It's not the AoE control that we want, but it's still a tempo hero to match Talon's pace a bit.
Yeah, I mean, they could just try, push, like basically trade towers or
Mirror.
force Talon to defend. Yeah, mirror. I do feel like they're going to be a bit slower. Lean is just this hero that needs a bit too much farm before you come online, but I'm not sure. Tidehunter to me is like the simple, like, okay, let's just pick big tanky boy to put in front of these towers to defend it with. You got Anchor Smash against the Bear, against the Lycan summons, Kraken Shell to get out of Jakiro spells, but I don't know. Doesn't feel amazing. Ooh, okay. There we go, Secret. That's kind of that's one concept. I mean, it's similar to the Death Prophet where it's like, let's mirror the push and put them on the back foot. But in a way where like you overrun your lane and who on Talon easily deals with the Brood. You've got a Leshrac, but you don't really want to be playing defensively on your side of the map and deep pushing against a Brood. You want to be setting the tempo yourself. So I think this is a pretty cool concept for Secret to try and answer Talon's draft.
I'm going to Brood them. I think that's a good point, though, you bring up. Like, Makoto doesn't want to be going top lane. He wants to be playing mid and bot lane, pushing enemy tier 1, playing in that bottom jungle, not tracking back and dragging his feet to deal with the Brood Mother up at top. And Rezo, with a Brood, that also means Tusk is going to have a bit more freedom to roam around, right? Once Brood is like level 3, level 4, Tusk can kind of just leave the lane.
Yeah. And if you do want to make, you can either make plays around your mid lane, around your Lina, or you just kind of take over that enemy jungle and have the threat of Tusk setting up kills for the Brood, who, Brood is this hero that loves to farm, but also is very happy to have support rotations coming on in to set up some of those early kills once you have that, level 6 Brood with the Spider Army and the webs all set up through the enemy jungle.
Are there any lanes that either team wants to kind of try and avoid? Is there a way for Talon to move away from the Brood lane to get a better advantage?
I don't think so. I think the Lone Druid does fine against the Brood in lane. The Silken Ball is just not as effective. It's single target and you've got the hero plus the bear, so it doesn't really give you an edge when it comes to the laning stage. I think if you're Talon, you're just hoping that the lanes can go well enough that the Brood, you slow down those Brood timings. Maybe you do some early support rotations or bring in Makoto early on with the Leshrac to make some kind of move. I think these power runes, like if you get a Leshrac haste or something, could make a difference, but their lanes are fine. Like they don't have to be concerned about how the lanes themselves go. It's just how you deal with the level 6 Brood.
Yeah, the consequences of this Brood last pick that Secret bring out. Also, got to rely here a little bit on getting level 6 on Clockwork. It feels like Q has got his work cut out for him in terms of teamfight initiation. But yeah, he'll have the Wolves and the Flares and the Bear to scout things out. But he is pretty much the way in for Talon to start things off. But Saying that, the way that Talon want to play is going to be frontlining with Lycan and the Lone Druid on objectives. So maybe that's their way of kind of breaking vision, right?
Oh, yeah. And at some point, they can just give up that top lane to Brood. Let Brood take tier 1 top, tier 2 top. As long as they're getting similar towers and more, like, their push is overwhelming. Edict, Bear, plus Lycan. Towers are going to melt, and it's just about making sure you actually aren't being stalled and delayed. Because Brood will do the similar thing on the other side of the map, just not quite as fast.
Well, off to the races we head. Talon against Secret. Talon looking for these wins. KP half health. Zayats and Puppey doing a good amount of damage to him and chasing him all the way across, back down towards bottom. Is this a tri-lane from Secret? Or is Zayats just going to try and TP? Oh, he's zoning out Q. Good amount of damage on the clockwork now, too.
Yeah, curious to see. I don't think you want to leave Brood alone. Brood will lose this lane pretty horribly. And yeah, Tusk TP's top. Like, Jakiro alone is just going to ruin Brood's life if it's a 2v1. And Lone Druid will get utter free farm. So lanes will stabilize as Q continues to get bullied by Puppey's Bane. Force out an early salve here. You don't want to give Bloodseeker too much free damage because as a result, KP's getting zoned away from this bottom lane. All that free thirst is problematic.
Yeah, very speedy on this Bloodseeker, chasing KP back. And Q, that was a fight that he thought he could win with Battery Assault, but Brain Sap, yeah, there we go. Always the strongest hero in these 1v1 trades. Now he's under a dire creep wave, though, taking a significant amount more damage.
He wanted to stop the neutral camp spawning, but paid a pretty healthy price of his health pool to do so. His next Battery Assault coming up soon, and he's just going to try and stay on Puppey and give KP this kind of 1v1, but Chrysalis is just bullying KP so far. Anytime KP comes up to the lane, he's just being right-clicked down, and Bloodseeker getting all these denies as well, or a couple of denies on range creeps, and not an easy lane for KP.
Yeah, usually it's the honest regen trade, you know, tango for tango, salve for salve. But with that early damage that the two supports of Secret got onto the Lycan and Clockwork, they were at a disadvantage from the get-go. Chrysalis exploiting this fact with spamming out the Bloodright and getting the chases onto them. But a bit of calm here, it looks like, as the Radiant Wave will get in on top of the Dire Tier 1. Gives a bit of room for Puppey to pull. So we can take a peek into some of these other lanes. Lina against Lesh. Nisha versus Mikoto. Getting into their bottles as quickly as they can.
Yeah, pretty, I think, interesting, fun mid lane. Like, all comes down to some of these skill shot spells. Mikoto's always going to be trying to land those split earths when Lina goes for last hits, but Nisha always comes down to can you sidestep these spells and not get hit by the split earth as far as winning this mid lane.
Yeah, then up at top, they've secured a bit of XP here for the Broodmother to close in on level 3. Zayats very often is out of XP range, hits level 2 now. I'll wait to see what his skills up. But he'll be just maintaining that lane for resolution. Try and deward, block up some camps, make sure that Hyde and 23 Savage don't get the complete free farm on this Lone Druid, who is always looking for that first item timing. Get the Mask of Madness, get the Deso, it's all clicking into place for Savage.
Yeah, before that comes online, there's, you know, not a whole lot they can really do to give Rezo a tough time on his Brood in this lane, so will be the snowball at level 2. Zayats, if they catch Hyde out of position, could see a Brood rotate on over, but Brood isn't even going for any points in the Silken Bolus load, just wants to sustain from the web and the hunger. It looks like this lane is mostly going to be a bit of a farm trade.
Yeah, looks like it. Going to favor Savage. 7 denies up already. Oh, Chrysalis continues his domination in that bottom lane. Yeah, battling inside the cogs. Puppey getting pushed back. The Wolves are chasing, but Brain Sap, even just at level 1, is enough to withstand the bit of damage is coming his way. And Chrysalis chasing with a Thirst and the Bloodright to get first blood on Q.
First blood.
Great recognition. He can rotate over and just using this Thirst movement speed to make all these extra little moves, and does give KP a little bit of freedom to farm freely under his lane, but a first blood gold going the way of Bloodseeker is going to feel really nice for his game.
He's going to be so quickly into the phase of the Maelstrom. That's another way to deal with the summons of the Lycan. Try and handle that Spirit Bear.
He gets the bottle refill mid.
Yeah. Makoto very thankful for it. A decent observer ward there placed by Q as well. Going to be watching for the moves in towards mid lane around the 6-minute mark when we look for those active runes. Both Lina and Lesh offer a lot of damage once they've hit level 6.
Definitely feels like the point where heroes like Clockwork and Bane are going to be looking to make those rotations towards mid. Not mid laners you typically want to give these power runes to.
27-5 on this Lina. Starting to get the upper hand now. Falcon Blade, first item for Nisha. No surprises there. Has become the primary item for these Linas in the mid lane. While Hyde up at top, having a bit of a scrap with Zayat. He's got the block there, and the ice shards as well to get him out. Doesn't have a TP or anything, though. Just tangos to rely on. It looks like he wants to place an observer ward somewhere as well.
Ooh, yeah. Gonna get... How deep does he want to go? I mean, the Jakiro knows he's going to ward, but there's just so many different places he can place it. And I think the key is here for Zayat's not putting it in an obvious place that gets dewarded, gets a nice little jungle ground ward, something that's unlikely to be found, and also finds a courier. Okay. Bye bye Makoto's courier.
Fortune favoring the bold there, walking all the way across. Boots gone. And looking for this kill on Makoto now, 20 seconds before Rune spawns. This is the move that Zayat has been wanting to make. Q is here ready in position, but with the battery assault wearing off, Zayat and Nisha put a little bit of damage on him, but I'll come to a close.
Did bait out some of those tough spells, which will, you know, he's a bit low on mana for this 6-minute rune, but in position to secure the bottom rune, and top rune will be Talon favored, so they get charged forward. They go for the kill on Nisha here, but Makoto's out of mana.
Yeah, everyone's out of mana. No one's got any spells left to give. Mango given to Zayat, and the Laguna Blade looking for the finish onto the Leshrac, but he gets the kill on Lina first. Now with the Ice Path, holding on to Puppey, Q and Hyde with the cogs pushed back, trapping Zayat inside, but lacking damage at this point. Just a dual breath and maybe another liquid fire here in a second from Hyde. He's trying to kill off the Tusk. Zayat so close to death. Under the tower with a tag team and a bit of damage from the Brain Sap. Puppey, one more hit. Oh, it does the trick.
Absolute bloodbath there in that mid lane. That's it's so funny. Like they rotate everyone to try and secure the rune. In the end, it's just the Puppey Bane picking up the rune for nothing. But everybody dying as a result of power runes. Rupture down bottom. They go for the kill on KP. He's got a TP, but he can't go for it because Tusk is in the neighborhood, and it seems like KP knew it. He just accepts his fate.
Just stand there and die. Crystal is hitting that level 6. Nice timing there to kill off the Lycan. And both these secret supports out on the map again. Such a threat with this Nightmare, the Snowball, tons of setup, no matter what lane they go into. But this ward that was placed by Q is going to see everything coming now.
Charge into the jungle here. They want to play around their Leshrac.
Yeah, enough time bought by Zayat. And Hyde, hit by the Light Strike array. 2 kills going to go the way of Secret, as it was Talon trying to make this play to open up the mid-tier 1. They had the vision, but Secret had the numbers, the positioning.
Just one Nightmare. They just Nightmared Lesh, and then suddenly these supports are like getting bursted down, and they're like, oh, Leshrac, you can help us, but it's just not a play they can make. They are rotating down bottom for Chrysalis here. No level 6, no shapeshift, so it doesn't look like Q's going to be able to really set up any kind of a gank here, and he's actually the one getting zoned out of this bottom lane. You have to respect that Rupture now with a Javelin plus Phase Boots. Chrysalis' Bloodseeker is getting ridiculously farmed.
Monstrous, really monstrous. Oh, we'll see if he decides to go BKB before finishing off the full Mjolnir. There's also his Aghanim Shard is a big item this game against Lycan and Lone Druid. I feel like we've, at least I say we, using the royal we. I've not looked top in a good 5 minutes. What's happening with Rezo? Is he fine?
Yeah, he's getting some decent farm. He's hit level 6 now. Lone Druid has been free farming though. 4k net worth on Lone Druid, so matching up with the Lina. Only a little bit behind the Bloodseeker. Considering Bloodseeker got first blood, basically means like they've been farming evenly. Problem is Lone Druid can't stick around now that Brute 6.
KP, shapeshifting mid, getting on top of Nisha, but the cogs keeping KP out of there, trapping Nisha inside. Makoto will get the damage they needed. A big kill on the Lina as they transfer all of this effort into the mid-tier 1.
Yeah, this is cool. They rotate the Lycan to the mid lane, and they actually send Lone Druid bottom. You don't want to play 5 heroes in one lane. You still want to play both mid and bottom. But Lone Druid, unable to play against the Brood, says, okay, Brood's going to take top lane, top jungle, and probably top tower. I need to do the same thing bottom. So if you're Secret, you're seeing this Lone Druid bottom. You know they just made a move mid. You probably want to gun for Lone Druid here.
I don't know how Puppey does it. He's just a pos 5 Bane, walks up, denies the tower in front of a Lesh, a Lycan, or even a Jakiro with all the tower push he's got from this level 1 Liquid Fire.
The news for Secret is this pair does not have Mask of Madness yet, so he can't really push the tempo down bottom as fast as the Brood is. Brood's going to get this top tier 1 tower very quick.
Yeah, just allowing creeps to push naturally. Clears out the wave and can come back for it. Secret readying themselves for a defense of the bottom tier 1, though. Bane and Tusk coming down here. Just with some ice shards and keeping this creep wave away. Looks like Talon are going to have to really push the limits of their draft and bring everybody down to shove this tower.
Just
Chrysalis
the summons.
Bloodseeker's in from the back, though. Has vision over onto Hyde. Trying to focus down and solo the Jakiro, and it looks like he's quickly done it. A Maelstrom strike at the very end, while Puppey is being pummeled by the bear. So 23 Savage does get the trade, but this is Secret defending their objective for now.
We touch upon Talon not having a Brood answer in terms of good AoE reliable clear. It's a similar story with Secret. And you've got level 1 Bloodright, you've got Lena Dragonslave, but this push with the bear plus the Helm Creep and the Wolves is just unstoppable. Even with the kill and the initiation from Secret, they still have to just let this tower go. But they're still at least getting some kind of a trade. They're getting the top lane. The Brood is going to, freely farm this top jungle and really accelerate from here.
And Makoto trying to get on top of these spiderlings, but resolution, he's just microing them away.
Good luck with that. As long as it's just Brood, Makoto can play top lane. He's not likely going to be able to kill any spiders because Rezo's just going to, play away from him. But the key thing is, if any kind of support rotation goes top to the Brood, that's where Makoto's in trouble. So he needs to be a little bit careful about sticking around this top lane.
Now in Talon's Bulldozer for Q. The Tumbler's toy from Zayat, forcing the misplaced hook. And this Bulldozer from Talon, it was starting on that tier 2 bottom, and it does force the glyph pretty early on here from Secret. We'll see if they continue with their efforts down here.
Even without the Leshrac, they know at worst it's a 4v4 because Brood is just not a hero who TP rotates. Brood is pretty much camped down this top lane, so they're willing to take their chances with a 4v4 fight here. Shapeshift is up with the Helm Creep.
I mean, the summons, they scouted out Zayat, but he's come back in with a grip from Puppey.
Okay.
Killing that Clockwork means no more teamfight initiation, no more brawler on the front lines from Talon and the Shards. They've trapped in Savage, focusing the bear with a Nightmare. Gonna go for the Rupture on the hero itself and maybe kill off both. Snowball across onto the Jakiro. Zayat, he'll chase down the Lone Druid, and Chrysalis grabs the double kill. The Shapeshift is used to sprint away as KP, he's left his high Jakiro to die. Attempts the TP, but there's a Walrus Punch from Zayat to stop him in his tracks. And Team Secret, just the right amount of heroes to come down here and make sure that a push of Talon is quelled.
Yeah, it was very calculated from Talon to be like, okay, we're fine down here. Brood can't rotate, but they just got outplayed and maneuvered. So we'll see if we can get a replay up in just a second, but the initiation there, just taking the Clockwork out, he didn't have the hook shot, but then most importantly, those ice shots locking the Lone Druid in the trees. What a beautiful shards from Zayat. I'm not sure if it's entirely the way intended. There was definitely some intent to catch the Lone Druid, but completely surrounding him against a wall just ended that team fight for Talon.
And now you know Savage has got to resummon the bear, so maybe if Secret are able to smoke out this bottom jungle and go hunt the Lone Druid, you shut him down for another couple of minutes. Their move, though, is to look for the tier 1 mid. Much more simple.
Yep. I love it. I mean, it goes back, like what we saw there, kind of what we mentioned in the draft. Leshrac Makoto, you didn't pick this hero and you don't want to just be playing top lane and dealing with a Brood, but he kind of feels like he has to, and as a result, as a Bloodstone farmed up Leshrac, he wasn't there to join his team for a key team fight. Somebody kind of has to address the Brood lane, and when it's one of your strongest heroes, it's just not really ideal for Talon's game plan.
Yeah, especially when we think about, physical damage versus magical damage and scaling into the game. This is early game, pre-20 minutes, pre-BKBs in particular. You want this magical damage to be utilized to the fullest, and that's not what you get when he's killing spiderlings. He wants to be killing heroes. Pretty shortly.
We'll trade tier 2s. They decide the fighting is over, but it's Secret who have a 4k gold lead off of all this.
Yeah, I mean, pretty shortly they're going to have BKBs up. Chrysalis is, 700 gold away. Nisha, 1,000 gold away. When come 16 minutes, we'll have double BKB cores for Team Secret, and then Mikoto even more struggles to output damage.
Yeah, they'll be entirely reliant on this lone druid, and you can easily defend these objectives that Talon are thinking, okay, we're going to have this Mask of Madness, Desert Bear, and just barrel down some lanes with a Lycan, but with BKB, Secret can force those fights.
Yeah, I'm wondering if KP, after this Helm of the Overlord, goes for the Ags to try and maybe shapeshift the bear.
Yeah, I kind of like the idea of it. We've seen it before from some of the other teams here in the group stage, and it's a very potent combo. Smoke up from Talon. They want to connect here. Any kind of kill could lead into Roshan.
And Zayat, he's going to be the hero they find. Snowball delays his inevitable demise. And Talon straight into the Roche pit.
Okay. This is definitely part of the game plan for them. Being this far behind in gold maybe wasn't, but they've still got an opportunity to kind of hit this Aegis high ground push timing here. No contest from the side of Team Secret. It looks like they're just going to give this one up and worry about defending their buildings rather than contesting a Roshan this early on.
Yeah, so how much brute force do we need from Talon right now? With this push draft, are they on a timer? Is there something they're worried about going into late game? Or is this going to be a farming Aegis or a hardcore push every tower Aegis?
I think they're absolutely on a timer. They need to push everything, all these outer towers, maybe even start considering, like with Deso, I think you're considering high ground push with this first Aegis, just because we're going to get to this point. This Spirit Bearer is going to get kited horribly. I don't think you can rely on this Spirit Bearer at all to do anything once you get past 30 minutes with like all the annoying spells it's up against. Ice Shard, Snowball, the tag team, the Nightmare, the grip potentially.
Rupture the bear.
Yeah, it may come to that. And heroes like Lycan aren't really scaling with the Helm of the Overlord. Lesher can scale. Like, that's kind of some pretty good late game there, but I think for Talon, yeah, let's get every outer tower, maybe even consider a high ground push with this, even first Aegis.
Yeah, DD Bat takes down the tier 1 up at top. Secret going to go for the mirror movement. Nisha down at bottom has his BKB and has Boots of Travel, so at the drop of a hat could join up top. And it looks like Broodmother's cutting in behind the top lane push.
That's nice. Yeah, and with the glyph, they get to clear the creep wave. They force out a dire glyph just to keep the creep wave alive. Do Talon push forward and go for... You can't go high ground because the glyph resets. Oh, no, it doesn't reset. They've already taken the tier 2 tower, so we'll see what the call's going to be. I don't think there really is a high ground play. I think they'd rather just slow things down a bit, and yeah, they smoke up. They're on the hunt now.
Yeah, look for some pickoffs. Try and maintain these other lanes. And mid is crashing onto your tier 2. Down at bottom, same story. While Secret, they've planted wards. They're guarding these ancients on the dark side of the map. But Zayat's in a good position here to spot the smoke.
Scouted.
Tumbler's toy.
The wolf has scouted them. They see Puppy. They see Chrysalis.
Oh, you're right. They're pinging it out. They know exactly where the Bloodseeker and the Bane are. And Q, he's angling for this initiation. Needs to make sure he lands the hook shot onto the Bloodseeker. And there we go with Mikoto's move. On towards Chrysalis and Puppy they go. Huge burst of damage here onto Team Secret. As Talon, I've got to go back and push these lanes out. But this is another opportunity to think about tier 2 mid. And like you said, maybe even high ground again.
They've got the Deso now. They didn't have that for that top lane. And the glyph is also on cooldown. So potential opening for the Talon side. This is, we always talk about the vision, and it's not just in the form of wards. In that situation, it was Rocket Flare and Lycan Wolves just scouting all these heroes out, tracking their movement through the trees. Usually it's like, you want to avoid a fight, you're just split pushing the map, you play around, the fog, you play around the trees, you push out a wave, but you never know when you're being scouted there. And unfortunately, with the clockwork in the game, like Bloodseeker doesn't go for a BKB TP because he can't. You're going to get hookshotted if you do. He just has to TP and hope for the best.
I'm curious to know what Team Secret are saying in their comms, though. I saw a lot of pings on this top tier 3.
Okay.
Maybe they're saying, hey, if they go for the tier 2 mid, we've got this Brood Lina to just shove hardcore and force them back again.
That's not a bad option, I think. at the same time, I think Talon, they pushed so much faster, and it does look like Brood is going to TP back for a fight.
Yeah, she sends Spiderlings top to push in, but the splitter landing on Zayat. Move in with Makoto, but a snowball's going to turn back onto the ancient creep they've got. 23 Savage losing his bear as well. Needs to resummon.
Problematic, yeah.
And they are losing a little bit of HP on that top tier 3. Secret getting the much better hand of this trade.
Just buying all this time here. A minute 20 on the Aegis. Leshrac TP blinks in to kill Zayat. It's a nice little find here. They've lost their creep wave though. They'll get the tier 2 tower, but okay, they can swing bottom. This creep wave bottom could open up the high ground for them, and with a minute left, that's enough time to actually pressure this lane.
This is their window.
Tier 3 tower without glyph, yeah.
This is their chance, Talon. Level 4 Diabolic Edict. Towers fall quickly. No glyph here for Secret. The Lone Druid's going to be wary of his bear, though, as he gets clipped by the Light Striker and ruptured as well. Hook shot from Q, though, getting onto Nisha. Trying to focus the Lina, but she's going to BKB up. Turns and fights in a Savage and blows up the Lone Druid. Q trapped behind enemy lines, and the resistance from Secret here is enough to withstand the push.
Yeah, just forcing a little bit too hard, and Secret want to chase and get some more hide. TP just barely gets out of there with the Aegis there. I mean, that's the problem with having just the one bear. Once he loses that bear, he can't. He has nothing to really contribute to a fight, and the Lina just zaps him down. Secret have done a really good job just delaying this push and buying themselves some time. They're up 3k gold 20 minutes in, and basically I feel like this entire game is going to come down to what Talon can do around maybe Roche number 2, but by the time they get Roche number 2, it may be too late.
It felt like that was their main avenue towards victory, but I've still got a couple more chances. Still scaling decently on this Lash and Lone Druid. Once they get the Basher, they've got the chance there to kill off Nisha or Crystallis during the BKBs. But Team Secret up towards top. They've got the outpost. They've got a bit of chip damage on that tier 3 thanks to Broodmother Spiderlings. And Resolution can go back to work.
Feels like we're already at this point. I mentioned like 30 minutes plus. Like the bear is going to feel not very effective. I think it's come sooner. You've got Alina with Falcon Blade, Crystallis, and like combine that with like the Silken Bowler from the Brood, the Bloodseeker Rupture. Like this Spirit Bear is just melting in these fights. Yeah,
we weren't joking about rupturing the bear and stuff like that. It's such a high value target. And nice to see Bloodseeker has his shard already as well. So percentage-based damage, pure damage, going to come out onto the side of Talon. And he gets the opportunity.
Talon, they shove the bottom lane and then they go for a smoke. They're not looking to brute force this bottom lane. We kind of saw what happens there and what the outcome might be. So they're going to look to sweep through top and try and find this Brood. Problem is, it's Rezo, and this man, he's played at a TI or two and knows when it's time for him to vacate this top lane and get back to safety.
And the rest of Secret, they're smoking to connect with him. Nisha shows on the mid wave under a dire Observer Ward or two, but the remaining members of Secret here, we know how good Puppey and Zayat are at setting up team fights for the rest of their squad. If they catch a glimpse of anyone from Talon, they're pretty much dead.
I think Talon really want to fight right now. They're close to a couple of key items, most notably this Makoto BKB on Leshrac. Clockwork also getting pretty close to an Aghanim Scepter, so it really is not an ideal time to take another engagement. They want to finish these items up before next Roshan. What they are doing, though, is split pushing bottom. They've left KP down. They just keep sending summons and applying pressure. That's going to force a TP back from the Brood, so good maneuvering on Malnarat from Talon, and then as soon as he sees a TP, he gets out of there, and he may look to join up with his team to try and take a fight.
And we start to get into the rhythm of that dance of death. The standoff around Roshan is about to begin. 40 seconds until that fast spawn, and it's something Talon desperately need to keep their chances of survival alive.
And just desperately trying to give farm to Makoto to finish this BKB before that Roshan fight. Crystallis on Bloodseeker has completed his Mjolnir now, so he's got his key item for the upcoming fight. And Lina, I believe, has a Daedalus, so a lot of right-click damage coming out from this Lina, and that's like the perfect way of dealing with this Spirit Bear. Not just the Spirit Bear, but the Leshrac as well. Like, trying to get on top of this Lina is just going to be so damn tricky.
And Crystallis bypassing that dire ward. 2 minutes for Roche, but Secret are smoked. Talon have Q and KP on the front lines. They're immediately scouted, and onto the clockwork they head, blowing him up with Nisha's damage. Moving forward here, Broodmother scouted out the Jakiro as well. Need a stun to stop the TP, but it won't come in time. Puppey lifted his arms, but didn't get the Nightmare or the grip.
Okay, outcome for Talon, just losing a support and disengaging. They didn't want to fight. Makoto's got BKB now with the Blink Dagger. If he can find a way to get onto that backlines, and really he just wants to kill the supports, I feel, more than anything. Like, he doesn't do damage against the BKBs. The Broodmother's not an ideal target. Taking out the Tusk and the Bane is going to be probably the most impactful thing you can do in these fights.
High Ground Ward attempted to be taken out. Okay, Nisha finally gets it done, and Trap hide in some shards for now.
Again, the song and dance of this bottom lane split push. The Lycan sending in creeps just to force Secret to continue to TP back and defend this lane.
Oh, nice
Nisha
Savage.
has got boots of travel for this, though.
Savage roar from 23. Savage gets away from the Nightmare. On to Zayat. And Roshan, 40 seconds away. That will coincide with the respawn of the Tusk. So now it's down to Rezo trying to get back to cutting waves, slowing down any form of push, play around his own vision up top. But hey, you're absolutely right. KP just sat bottom for the past 3 minutes or so, shoving in over and over again.
It's a simple game plan, but it's a very effective one that doesn't really have like an obvious counter. You just keep split pushing bottom, and the second somebody TPs to defend, you initiate top around the Roshan pit. Even if it's just killing a support, it could open up a free Roshan for you. So we're going to see probably this Lycan just keep sending his summons down bottom, and anytime they see somebody TP there, it's go time. But I think what Secret need to do is have Nisha pushing out this lane while still having his boots of travel available. If he's TPing bottom to defend, it means TP's on cooldown. You need to be TPing to join your team.
Well, TP's back to clear out top wave because they know that Roshan is imminent. Secret. One of the struggles they have is the fact that Rezo is on a Brood and not a teamfight starter, so a little awkward to get Broodmother involved in these fights. Very good at scouting, and you see the swarm of Spiderlings coming in from behind Talon from that northern side of the map, giving vision into the pit, and seeing the movement of the Dire team.
Rupture comes out.
Catching out KP.
Just walked right into that Rupture and just got annihilated. Secret don't have the best Roche-taking lineup, so if you're Talon, maybe you can just think about disengaging and not forcing a fight, just playing under your vision. Problem is, these summons, the Spiderlings, so good at scouting out these high ground cliffs and figuring out where enemies are.
Yeah, the fact that Nisha knows exactly where Dire team are, he's just mid lane pushing tier 2.
Bottom lane again, though, it's the split push. I think that's why he walked into them. He was probably too busy microing his Helm Creep, and he's going to take a range Rex here. They forced the Lina TP. Again, this is the play. You force Lina's TP, and now you try and initiate.
A Nightmare transfer. Jakiro trying to keep Makoto in play. Q angling for it, but the turnaround play. Secret going to blow up the Leshrac here. They got the chain disabled. Now Broodmother with the Spiderlings scouting out Hyde and Q. They're on the run, but Secret charging back in towards them. Get the blood right and silence up the clock. The Nightmare to stop any retreat. Rezo surrounds him while Crystallis focusing onto the bear. They want the bigger target. 23 Savage trapped inside the shards. Oh, the Spirit Bear is on the run and the heroes finished off. Crystallis finds the takedown, and Talon, they're running out of gas now. 4 kills for Secret. They won't even lose the Bane.
There's always, you know, I talk up Secret and the way they play. Oh, you know, they play around Nisha. He's their mid carry. He's not even in this fight. This is Crystal is something I carry games too. Like, as soon as the idea there from Talon is right. The execution though is just too good from Secret. They don't give Clockwork an avenue to get a hook shot off. There was all these summons, the spiders, even his own teammate Spirit Bear was kind of blocking his hook shot. The Leshrac runs in thinking there's a Clockwork behind him to back him up and follow up his initiation, but in the end it's Makoto just completely stranded on an island, getting Walrus punched and burst down by a Bloodseeker. And unfortunately for Talon, yeah, I think the concept, the strategy there is perfect. The execution is what was off.
Yeah, that range Rax, it feels like it means nothing now. We've got a DD Aegis Lina ready for this next fight. I'm going to take down the Ancient Creep. Oh, no, they're not. KP grabs a tiny hill troll priest to make sure they don't get their bounty from the Ice Shaman down at bottom. Talon always having to fall back and deal with the Broodmother at this point. Resolution planting himself top, and another army of spiders built up. It's always amazing to see these Brood players. The micro they've got, you know, it's what, like 20 spiderlings all in different places.
The mini map is, yeah, where you can really see the skills come in. I mean, every Brood player has had to kind of learn this and get good at this. It's such a key part of Dota these days, but it's just such an impactful thing to do, to have full info on the map of where your opponents are, and it's such a huge part, I think, of why Brood has come back into the meta.
Yeah, just littered with orange dots. And Nisha. And pops the DD, returns back to base. Looks like he's going to have to shove out that bottom lane one more time. Maybe play into the last remnants of this observable they've got on the high ground. Poppy and Zayats, they are smoking down here, maybe hunting for KP's Lycan.
Kind of caught on to this, you know, I mean, they've known he's been doing this for a while, but this is one way you can kind of respond to the split pushes. Flush the Lycan out of this bottom lane. His Korea maybe gives up his position, but he's already TP'd out. Yeah, Nisha looks for him, but doesn't find.
Good attempt. Trying to sniff out the rat here. The rest of Secret, they're up front. Rezo cutting mid-wave. Chrysalis and Puppy into the ancient spot. And Talon, the ones who are meant to have the momentum here, meant to be the ones that are pushing objectives. They're on the back foot. That doesn't bode well when they have a severe lack of team fight and AoE to really battle around these choke point spots.
Feels like they're going to be all in on like this Leshrac late game. He's the one getting all the farm, but playing in a BKB is there's only going to be so much Mikoto can do. The Spirit Bear of 23 Savage is just food in these fights. Like, I don't even think they need a Rupture it anymore. It's just too easy for this laner just to one LSA and the Spirit Bear is probably 2/3 dead.
Yeah, we've got to the point in the game now where, you know, Talon, after the kind of 100-meter sprint, they're turning into more of a marathon, and their legs weren't built for this kind of extended pressure they're under.
Again, playing the split push game. KP he swung his attention from bot lane to top. This is how they slow down and deal with Secret. I think considering, I mean, both Lycan and Lone Druid are pretty underfarmed here. The idea of kind of split pushing and stalling this game now is probably the best thing Talon can do. Like, they've missed their timing. The way they wanted this game to go didn't work. Plan B is try and go 45, 50, 60 minutes and get enough farm so that you can actually, you know, impact the game with an Aghanim Scepter on Lycan. Lone Druid probably needs an Abyssal Blade, maybe even a BKB on his Spirit Bear. Like, there's just so many items they're going to need for late game Dota now that they want this game to slow down.
Yeah, try and get 12 slotted on your Lone Druid. Look towards those tier 4 neutral items in about 5 minutes time. But Team Secret are knocking on the door. They're in front of your base. And Nisha, with 1 minute left on Aegis, he's going to go up and do a good amount of damage onto the tier 3. Top lane's being pushed in as well. Zayats is cutting wave there, so they've got multiple angles of attack for Secret. Scything up the bear for now. Nisha getting clipped by a couple of stuns, but I don't think he's too bothered with Aegis and BKB in hand. Lycan.
Yep. Suggesting he wants to engage, trying to maybe find the backlines. He doesn't really want the Brood. He's looking ideally for the Bane. Bane has just a 4-stop in terms of defensive capabilities, but KP, I think, realizing he's not going to connect anyone. He's just running bottom to, once again, go back to split pushing.
Well, we saw Talon in game 1 do very well around this Aegis timer of killing off Nisha as it expired. But with your bear dropping half HP just with one go from the Bloodseeker, scary times ahead for them. Nisha, 10 seconds remaining.
Yeah. Will there be another Talon play around the Aegis expiring? Nisha and Secret have got to be thinking about what happened last game when they weren't ready for Talon, and they're going to choose to back off and play things safe. I mean, I say Talon's best bet is stalling this game out. It still heavily favors Secret. Their draft late game has all the answers they need for the Spirit Bear. I don't really feel like the wolf bite on the bear is going to solve your problems. Especially, I mean, you're wolf biting a bear, and you're definitely rupturing it. So, not an easy situation to be in for Talon.
Well, these Aghanim's rocket flares are definitely annoying, though. You're pushing out bottom wave, scouting out Secret's movements. Knowing where Nisha is gives a little more safety in that top portion of the map for Talon. keep on farming on this lone druid with 3,000 saved up. He wants Ags, but maybe also thinking about buybacks here for Talon as this inevitable push from Secret just keeps coming back towards the Dire base. And a DD rune has spawned top as well. If Secret gets some vision over that, a huge amount of damage from either Chrysalis or the Lina.
Yeah, this is the issue when you've given up all this map control. You know Secret can get all these high impact runes. It's going to be very tricky to get out on the map to contest potential next Roshan, which comes with an Ag Scepter or a Refresher Shard. And a 6-load Lina headed towards the late game, and looking at potential level 25 coming up in the next 5 or so minutes as well is a scary, scary thought.
Yeah, Boots to travel onto a spider, jump forward in from Chrysalis, finding KP with the bash as well. Take him out of the fight as Nisha looking for the bear and kills it off immediately. Puppy stunned up, but Nisha opens up with his BKB. Makoto doesn't stand a chance in hell. 2 calls down from Talon, and Hyde left stranded. Just a few hits from Nisha's Lina. An easy triple kill with his double damage rune. Annihilating 3 heroes and a bear.
I think you press forward. You want to go for the killing blow here. You know there's only one Spirit Bear, so if you're Secret, there's no reason to kind of stick around and play passively here with the double damage still up as well. There should be plenty of damage to get maybe multiple lanes of racks here.
Not sure about this glyph. Chrysalis diving onto Hyde, and that's a dieback on the Jakiro. It's tier 4 time, it looks like, for Nisha. Says, screw the barracks, I'm going for the jugular. Finish off the tier 4 towers and open up this Ancient, because there is no glyph from the Dire team. They've already spent it. Q's in, though, with a 2-man hookshot. Trying to push them back with the cogs into Savage with his lone druid bear. But the snowball save is there from Zayat. Buys the time for Nisha to come back into the fight. Maybe gonna get dropped, though, still. But look at this damage from Nisha. Destroying them all. The buyback from the lone druid will come, but it's all too little too late. Talon have lost their Lesh, and Team Secret have 5 heroes alive, forcing the GG.
Always sad when you're buying back as a lone druid and you're like, oh wait, I have no Spirit Bear. I'm just a creep that's buying back there in Secret. Very well executed game. They were, under a little bit of pressure here. Like, well, theoretically a lot of pressure, but it never really felt like it. It felt like they kind of handled the threat of this, 15 to 20-minute timing, the Aegis #1 where you could go high ground and get a Rax. And I almost feel like even if Talon had gotten 1 lane of Rax with it, this game still ends the same way. Secret were just understanding that their timing comes later. We just got to chill. And at some point, this Spirit Bear is just completely ineffective and useless because we have, they picked the Spirit Bear into the Lone Druid, into the Lina. Secret already had the counter for the Lone Druid in many ways.
I mean, what does this mean for Talon? Have you peeked in to figure out what has happened in terms of the group stage and tiebreakers and things like that?
So Entity did end up getting 2-0'd. So Talon are still alive. If Entity had won a singular game, Talon would be eliminated. But both Entity and Talon go 0-2 in their final series, which means they remain tied at 8th, 9th place. Then you've got TSM, who are in 10th place. They lost game 1. They're currently in game 2. If they win game 2, it's a 3-way tie. If they lose, they're eliminated. So we could see 3-way ties for bottom 2 in both groups. I believe Fnatic playing TSM is pretty even. They're about 30 minutes in, and neither team has really pulled away with it.
Oh man, it's all coming down to this, the very end of the final day of group stages. We've got plenty of tiebreakers ready and waiting for us as we do just watch back Team Secret's dominance. They weathered the storm in the first 20 minutes, and with that DD rune on the Lina, getting Nisha a triple kill and just opening up this Dire Ancient. Kill off the throne.
I was like, Secret looked pretty damn scary going into the main event, into the playoff bracket. Definitely a team I think not many people are going to go up against. They're just so flexible with their players. There's games where they make Chrysalis really sacrificial. Then there's games like this series here where he plays a 6 Slardar, where he's controlling the entire game. This game he plays more traditional carry with the Bloodseeker. There's so many different heroes that Nisha pulls out. Rezo is this X Factor with a sick Primal Beast Brood, but he'll also play some offlane carries. They've just got such a wide pool of heroes and playstyles that make them really hard to draft and face.
It's just so unpredictable. You don't know what's going to come your way. Everybody's able to dig real deep into that pool of heroes. As Team Secret, like you said, secured already in that playoff stage. and looking incredibly strong as we've got our top 7 teams from both groups already locked in place. EG, Liquid, LGD, OG, Hikori, RNG, and Gaming Gladiators in Group A. Tundra, Secret, Asta, Thunder Awaken, Team Spirit, Beast Coast, and Fnatic in Group B. So a nice mix there as well of, European, Chinese, Southeast Asian, South American, and a North American team there into the playoffs.
One in Asia up. I think the big shock or perhaps upset is Team Spirit starting in the lower bracket. Returning TI champions, major champions. A lot of teams, they have their, TI win and then they fall off. It didn't really feel like that was the case with Spirit, but they're going to be starting in the lower bracket. We'll see some of the standings here. This is the group standings for Group A, where EG, surprised everyone. And then the other surprise of sorts, but it's just a kind of a sad story. It's RNG. They were dominating Group A, but unfortunately with the COVID situation, playing with sick players, they've just fallen into that lower bracket, and it's kind of heartbreaking to see because it feels like they were a shoo-in for the upper bracket after the first couple of days of groups. Yeah,
they're dominating. And I guess the flip story for LGD, a disappointing day 1, and then coming back very strong days 2, 3, and 4, as we see both groups side by side there. And we're looking at the bottom 3 from both groups. 5-13 in Group A, so a 3-way tie awaiting us to come up next. And Entity, Talon, TSM still awaiting that TSM Fnatic result as the final game of the group stage. Exciting times ahead.
One last thing I'll add. The 2 last chance qualifier teams, 2nd place in their groups.
Oh, yeah.
Western European Dota fans demanding more slots, demanding a DPC format that helps them out. But no, I think it also speaks to the fact that the way, playing a tournament right before the tournament, building up that momentum, it's such a big thing. Getting that kind of team cohesion going, and both Liquid and Secret have really rode the wave out of that last chance qualifiers here into the main event. Great to see both those 2 teams doing so well.
Yeah, really, really gorgeous stuff. I mean, the level of competition here at this TI, I think, has been higher than ever. Everyone's taking games off of everyone. And we started day 1 where Group B was all tied up. Everyone's just one-wanting each other. Very close fought battles across all of these teams. As that does round up regulation play here on this stream, closing out things with that final series. But like we've been saying, there are tiebreakers to come. So I don't know, Gods, are you jumping over with me to see stream to do some tiebreakers?
I have no idea what's going on. I'm going to be honest with you, Gareth. Am I?
I've got no idea. I think I am.
Is that what you're doing? Okay.
I believe so. Yeah.
I might be. I might not be. I don't know. Let's find out.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll find out together what's exactly happening. But make sure you tune in, find out what's happening on the other streams. Tiebreakers are coming, so we'll see you guys for them.